I messed up. Can I fix this, or am I doomed? Sarah's heels clicked on the hardwood floor as she breezed through the door, the scent of expensive perfume and something else clinging to her. Exhaustion, probably. It was always exhaustion these days. Hey, I said, trying to sound welcoming, like I hadn't been staring at the clock for the last hour, resentment simmering in my gut. Mark, she replied, barely glancing at me before heading straight for the bedroom. Long day. Yeah, I figured, I mumbled, turning back to the TV. Another cooking show. Another night alone. It hadn't always been like this. We used to talk, laugh, actually connect. Now, conversations were logistical. Who's picking up groceries? Did you remember to pay the bills? Another fundraiser for the law firm. It felt like we were roommates, not lovers. That's how Olivia wormed her way in, I guess. She was just nice. And she noticed things, like the new tie I wore to the office, or that I'd stayed late to finish that presentation. Sarah wouldn't even register those things. Olivia was young, mid-20s, bright-eyed, and genuinely interested in what I had to say. We'd started grabbing lunch together, just casual work talk at first. But then it became more. Sharing details about our weekends, complaining about our bosses, laughing at inside jokes. David thinks I'm crazy, I told him over a beer last Tuesday. David, my best friend since college, always had an opinion. Crazy for what? Having a friend at work? He scoffed. Don't be ridiculous, Mark. You're just lonely. Sarah's got her head so far up her own ass, she probably doesn't even know you're alive. That's not fair, I protested weakly. But deep down, I knew he was right. Look, I'm not saying you should do anything stupid, David continued, but a little harmless flirting never hurt anyone. It's good for the ego, harmless flirting. That's what I kept telling myself. It was just a harmless distraction, a way to feel alive again. Then came the conference in Chicago. Sarah couldn't make it, of course. Too many cases to juggle, too many partners to impress. Olivia was there, though, assigned to assist me with some of the presentations. We had dinner the first night, just the two of us. The conversation flowed easily, like it always did. We talked about our dreams, our fears, the things we wanted out of life. And then, after a few glasses of wine, she reached across the table and took my hand. I really enjoy spending time with you, Mark, she said, her eyes sparkling. My heart hammered in my chest. I knew this was wrong. I knew I shouldn't. But in that moment, with Sarah miles away and Olivia's touch sending shivers down my spine, I couldn't resist. One kiss led to another, and soon we were back in her hotel room, tearing each other's clothes off. The guilt was there, a dull ache in the back of my mind, but it was drowned out by the adrenaline and the sheer novelty of it all. The next few weeks were a blur. I'd sneak off to meet Olivia for lunch, sometimes even for a quick rendezvous after work. I was living a double life, and the stress was starting to take its toll. Sarah started acting strange, quieter than usual, almost distant. Maybe she suspected something. Or maybe it was just my paranoia talking. One evening, I came home to find her sitting at the kitchen table, a stack of papers in front of her. She looked up as I walked in, her eyes red and puffy. "We need to talk," she said, her voice barely a whisper. My stomach dropped. This was it. "What's wrong?" I asked, trying to sound casual, but my voice trembled. "I got a call from Emily today," she said, her gaze fixed on the papers. Emily was one of her closest friends, a lawyer at a different firm. "Okay," I said, bracing myself. She said she saw you with someone at the restaurant last week. Someone younger. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. My mouth went dry. I don't know what you're talking about," I stammered. "Don't lie to me, Mart," she yelled, finally looking up at me, tears streaming down her face. Just tell me the truth. I stood there, paralyzed, the weight of my guilt crushing me. It was just a friend, I managed to choke out. A friend? She screamed. A friend you were holding hands with? A friend you were kissing? The dam broke. I confessed everything. The lunches, the late nights, the conference in Chicago, the hotel room. I spared no details, hoping that honesty would somehow mitigate the damage. Sarah listened in stunned silence, her face contorting with pain and disbelief. When I was finished, she stood up and slapped me across the face. "Get out," she said, her voice cold and steely. "Just get out." I didn't argue. I packed a bag and left, the sound of her sobs echoing in my ears. I spent the next few days crashing at David's place, drowning my sorrows in beer. "I messed up, man," I said, slurring my words. "I really messed up." "Yeah, you did," David agreed, patting me on the back. "But it's not the end of the world. You can fix this." "How?" I asked, desperation creeping into my voice. "How do I fix something like this? Tell her you're sorry. Tell her you love her. And then do whatever it takes to win her back." Easier said than done. I called Sarah the next day, begging her to talk to me. She reluctantly agreed to meet me for coffee. She looked tired and drawn, but there was also a hardness in her eyes that I'd never seen before. "I don't know if I can forgive you, Mark," she said, stirring her coffee. This is a huge betrayal." "I know," I said, my voice cracking. "And I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I was feeling lost and alone." "That's no excuse," she snapped. "You made a choice. You chose to cheat on me." I know, I repeated, like a broken record. "I'll go to therapy. I'll quit my job. I'll do whatever it takes." She sighed. "I don't know, Mark. I need time to think. I need to figure out if I can even trust you again." She agreed to couples therapy, but the sessions were brutal. We dredged up years of resentment and unresolved issues. It felt like we were constantly fighting, constantly accusing each other of things. I ended things with Olivia, of course. It was a messy, painful conversation. She was hurt and angry, accusing me of using her. Maybe she was right. "I thought we had something special," she said, tears streaming down her face. "We did," I said, feeling like the biggest scumbag in the world. "But I can't throw away my marriage for this." She didn't say anything. She just turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, alone with my regret. I started trying to be a better husband. I took on more responsibilities at home. I planned date nights. I actually listened when Sarah talked. But it felt like everything I did was being scrutinized, judged. One night, after a particularly difficult therapy session, Sarah turned to me and said, "Why did you do it, Mark? Why her?" "It wasn't about her," I said truthfully. "It was about me. About feeling seen. About feeling like I mattered." She looked at me for a long time, her eyes searching mine. "And do you feel that way now?" I didn't answer, because the truth was, I didn't know. I was still lost, still confused, still wondering if I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. Hoping to maybe grab dinner and spend some time together. I had flowers in hand. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but the way they were looking at each other, it sent a shiver down my spine. Then, I saw Michael reach out and gently brush a stray hair from Sarah's cheek. She didn't pull away. She just smiled. I froze, the flowers wilting in my hand. Was this karma? Was she doing to me what I had done to her? Or was I just being paranoid again? I turned and walked away. The image of Sarah and Michael burned into my brain. I went to the bar. The waitress always looked out for me. "Rough day?" she asked, placing a beer in front of me. I nodded, taking a long gulp. "You have no idea." Back home, I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, the unanswered questions swirling in my mind. Could we really make this work? Could I ever truly regain her trust? And was she keeping secrets of her own? The last thought was the most terrifying of all. Because if Sarah was capable of betrayal too, then what was the point? What was left to salvage? Or was I simply reaping what I had sown, destined to live a life consumed by doubt and regret? I just don't know anymore.